going to be a tight schedule tonight. We have a special guest tonight, so let's try to get through this. Please silence your phones. If everyone can rise, we'll start with a prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all that are gathered here this evening. We thank you for President Trump showing us how things should be done. We ask you to give him the proper support from his own party and to open the eyes of the other party. We need your help to enlighten them and also enlighten everyone in this room. We need your guidance because our wisdom sometimes is not there. We ask you to help us during this petition season that we get all the signatures we need to get good Republicans on the ballot, and once the primary is over, that we unite and get the Republican Party in place locally. We also pray for all those who are ill that cannot attend this meeting this evening, and for our family and friend members who are ill. We ask you to restore them to health. And we ask you to bless each and every person here. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Very nice.
Welcome. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A short pause here. Bear with us.
Please stand or remain standing as we honor our nation with the presentation of colors and the singing of our national anthem.
Okay, folks. All right. All right, as you see over there, we have no solicitation at all, please, no solicitation at all, without clearance here from myself or the board members. So what that means is, it's like a commercial, you have to buy the airtime. Simple as that, okay? See, we got some young people here in the room. I hear babies crying. I love it. All right. Please respect our speakers. When they're up here, it's going to give them your complete attention. Membership and treasury reports. This is as of the other day. Total members, 7,440. Our bank balance is $64,258.80. Our credit line is $16,000. I believe that went up. How many first-time attendees do we have here? If you're a first-time attendee, stand up. So we thank you for coming. We would encourage you to become a paid member. You can do that at the break over there. Stage right over there where the ladies are waving at you for $25. All right, our 50-50, we will have one winner with the 50-50, okay? And you can get your tickets back there where Tom is waiting back there. All right, we also have our 100 ticket raffle. That is for a $500 gift certificate where you could choose either to use it as Relic Hunter, the High Valley Sporting Clays, or AF Boyer Hardware. They're $10. How many tickets do we have left, Steve? How many? Okay, we can sell those tonight, so hopefully we'll get that done tonight. All right, then we have the Second Amendment book by David Portman. That's over there at the 2A table where Steve and Melissa are at for $5. Also, the Lehigh Valley Tea Party Second Amendment Committee will be doing more gals and guns, and guys and guns trainings this year. More details to follow. How many of you went to that shootout they had? I shouldn't say shootout, but the ladies. Franklin, edit that out of the tape there. All right. Anyway, all right. Also, Steve is going to be a good person. He's going to drive some trailers down to North Carolina. Steve is the tall guy in the back standing up right now. So if you're willing to help him out, see that guy over there waving at you. All right, if you do not have cash, if you run out of cash because you have bought some of our Trump statues, some of our brownies, crumb cakes, whatever it might be, if you tip Hunky Joe too much, you can go back to where the ladies are, and with your credit card swipe or your ATM, you can get some chips and use the money that way, okay? All right, also, my Boy Scouts were approved. We are going to West Point. Again, very hard to get into this West Point parade. The cadet who's sponsoring us, her and I connected a few years ago because she swam for West Point. I myself am a swimmer, so we connected and she sponsored us the last 2 years. She's going to be a graduate this year. She just retired from swimming, so I'll be looking for a new cadet to sponsor us. But the way we pay for some of our expenses is by selling brownies, cannolis, crumb cakes, so we appreciate your help. And women, your men come here for the meetings for those crumb cakes, not here to sit with you and hold your hand. All right, that's good. All right, also, U.S. Law Shield. How many of you are Second Amendment people? How many of you have a handgun, a shotgun, a rifle? God forbid you ever have to use it. Even if someone comes into your house and you have to use it, you're going to need an attorney, no matter what. The best way to protect yourself is to become a member of U.S. Law Shield because they will be there the day of the incident and they will see you from start to finish. Instead of signing up for 1 year, they give you 2 additional months. Additionally, they will be coming in May here to the Tea Party to make a presentation. So, be here in May. Support the troops. Valerie is not here this evening. In fact, I took her to the airport just before I came here this afternoon. She's heading down to Florida She said to sign up some Tea Party members. I'm not sure if that's true. But if you have any stuff to give to her, you can either see Joe Matias behind me or myself, and I will get it to her. All right. Why do we ask for donations? This operation costs us money. It is a business. So to keep this event going, we have to pay for all the operating expenses. In addition, we like to have money on hand in case we ever get sued, or there are months that are poor turnout, so we still have to cover our expenses. So also, what we're asking for is if everyone could be generous, consider giving $10, it would greatly help us out. Okay. Board members, so we had a little technical difficulty here, so I uploaded these slides a little bit late on the other device. I wanted to thank the outgoing board members, or the board members, so that would include, let me make sure if I can get to that slide on the other device here real quick. So I know it's Annette Pouillon, Marianne Morales, Bud Norris, Jim Rush, and I'm trying to think one of them, and Jim Del Rio. So we want to thank them for their service. So if we could give them a round of applause. Again, unfortunately, I know the technical difficulty, that slide did not load up into this computer. All right, Lvtp board vote March elections. There are fortunately 4 seats available. We have 4 people that are up for election. So it makes it simple for us. You can only vote if you are a Lehigh Valley Tea Party paid member. So if you are a paid member, raise your hand. Okay, now we also have that on a computer, but again, due to technology, and since we don't have really an issue here, we're going to vote on these 4 people. Paul, is Paul here, by the way? No? And Juan Reynosa is here somewhere. Where's Juan? Juan was very instrumental on election day. He was with me for a long time with, he's back there. I'm blanking out name-wise. Brandon and Juan were with me at the banana factory. And man, did we go into troubles there. All right. So, and then we had Joe Cantoni in the back there. He's back there somewhere. And then Sam Negron, he just texted me his wife. Keep her in your prayers. So he's coming back from a hospital in Philadelphia with her. So she's going under, ongoing care. So we did verify that all of them checked out all right. So we either see if they have a carry permit or we run a background check on them. The only negative thing we found was that Joe Cantoni used to run a pizzeria, and a lot of times he burned some pizzas. So
Hey, that's not.
he's not going to give me any more wine. But other than that, that's the only negative thing we had on those 4. So I am looking for a yes to vote for all of these 4 votes. So I'm asking for someone to make a motion to vote for all of them. Can I have someone motion? All right, Tara. And let's see here. In fact, Jeanette, I'm going to ask you to write down. So Tara Leon made a motion to accept the slate, and the second person was your name, sir?
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan. And you are a member?
Yeah.
All right, Ronald Reagan. Freeman. F-R-E-E-M. R. Reagan. All right, we'll get this done. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Well, oh, there he is. Paul just came in. He's going to have to buy everyone a drink. All right. All right. Next thing, let's see here. Annual review. All right, so again, we had at your table is the annual review. Okay, so there are printed copies. In addition, if you go to our website and you click on the top, documents, on the top, you click on documents, there is what is called our bylaws, and there is the annual report, which I just posted, okay? So again, if you could just look at them, it's busy, it's very simple here. It just says what we did, what our meetings consisted of, and then our planned activities for 2025. Some of the outgoing board members or current board members, we said we are going to renew and recruit new members. We're going to list new speakers. We're going to participate in petition signing, which we're doing this evening. We're going to engage potential donors. We're going to continue to do raffles. We're going to work with county parties to get good conservative candidates elected. Social media, we will improve our communication outreach. And we're also going to outreach with youth and Latino communities. Okay? And this is on page 4 of the printed version. Again, you can download right from the website. You go to the top of the website, lvtp.org. On the top, you would click on documents and you can download this, or you can take the printed version there. It tells you our total membership of last year and this 2023 and 2024, and the financial report is there. We put the balance sheet on there. Are there any questions? It's pretty simple and straightforward. Hearing no questions, I thank you for your time on that. All right. Next up, we have one of the 3 county executive candidates from Lehigh County present this evening. Justice Simmons contacted me, so if you can give Justin a round of applause as he goes up to the podium.
Well, good evening.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
It's interesting. 7 years ago, I was a state, if you don't remember, I was a state rep from 2010 to 2020. I was here at the Tea Party, and that was the day I decided I was going to challenge our former Congressman Charlie Dent. That was the night he actually said, "I'm not running anymore." So I just want to say thank you, because you guys have been so great with all that. Anyway, yes, I'm running for county executive. I've been out of politics for 5 years. I'm very in the private sector, but I have real concerns about the Democrat that is going to be the nominee for county executive. His name is Josh Siegel. He's a state rep, and our county taxes are going to go up if he wins this election. And this is going to be a tough election. You're going to need a Republican to beat Josh Siegel that is battle-tested and that knows how to win tough races, which I believe I fall into that category. I think that Siegel, he has 2 different ideas that he wants. He wants to do a county-wide sales tax, and he also wants to do a tax to fund the arts in Allentown. It's crazy. I mean, this stuff is just crazy. So we need to really, in my humble opinion, why I'm running is we need to put the best Republican up that can take Josh Siegel on, because it's going to be a tough race. There are 20,000 more Democrats than Republicans in Lehigh County. It's going to be a tough race, but you need to put somebody up that is going to be willing to take him on and expose him for who he really is. I believe that's who I am, and that's why I'm running. Thank you.
Okay, Justin, thank you very much. And again, he's running for county executive. He has 2 opponents within the primary. They reached out to me the last day or so. I'll be communicating with them, give them my time next month. They'll get the same time, 5 minutes or less. Actually, we were going to do this to Justin. So, now, actually, one of the girls in the back, or it might have been Steve Greco, he said, "Here, take one of these. These are for sale tonight, folks." So this is great because, next time you're watching a debate, you use this. So they're $1. Is there $1 a piece, guys? How much are they? Merchandise table, how much are these? $1 each, but we have a special 10 for $10. Come on, folks, we need to make some sales here. This is great. Would you have loved to have this? If we could have got this to Trump, would that have been the greatest thing in the world? Huh? We should send them some, I don't know, but, all right. But please, make sure you get some, all right? If you enjoyed it, that's what you do when you go to your friend's house. And if they're lit and they're talking to you, oh, I'm telling you, let's get them going. All right. Thank you, Justin. All right. During the break, yeah, thank you. During the break, please visit the petition tables. Northampton, again, stage left. When you're on a stage left is to your left, okay? And stage right is Lehigh's, okay? Let's take a look here. All right, tonight's coffee sponsor is John Paolini Castone. So John has those fun statues up there. You see those? Now, the large standing one there, you're going to need some help, but John's here to help you. He'll wheel that out into your car there. But in addition to that, if you go to the link that he had, or that I put on the text class today, it takes you to his website. So he has water founts, a lot of Catholic statues. I believe he's Catholic myself. All different types of cement things. So speak to John during the break. Okay? All right. Actually, we're going to take a quick break because what we're going to do is we're going to have Mr. John Eastman play his movie tonight. So we've gone through everything pretty quick. So we're going to give you a chance now to go again, sign some petitions and stuff like that, and take a quick break. Go to the tables, get whatever you want, and when we come back, we're going to play the movie. Now, again, make sure you get your 50-50, because at the end of the night, we will do the drawing. Okay, thank you. See you shortly.
Pennsylvania, I think you'll recognize a lot of discussion, but it also talks about the lawfare that has occurred since. Against President Trump, against Rudy Giuliani, against me, and what have you. I used to clerk at the Supreme Court for Justice Clarence Thomas, so I got a pretty good lawyer pedigree. Before we kick this off, I just want to say something about your logo, that Gadsden flag. I've got a client, a kid named Jaden Rodriguez. You probably don't recognize the name, but he's the kid in Colorado Springs who was kicked out of school because he had a Gadsden flag hat on his backpack. And his mom reached out to me and said, is there something we can do about this? And we're fighting. But that kid had more courage than most of the elected officials in this country. And when his teacher and his vice principal said that Gadsden flag is a symbol of slavery, he stood up and said, no ma'am, it's a symbol of freedom fighting against tyranny. That's the next generation of the Let's watch the movie and I'll take questions and answers afterwards. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know that story told in the film about that LA Times, they wanted to run that human interest story on me and my family on Christmas Day a couple years ago. And I said, where are you getting that? We're on the precipice of losing everything we inherited, our freedoms, that people have fought and died for throughout our history. And I'm on the front line of this battle. I can't imagine a more important place to be. I told that story once at a meeting, and my wife was actually, I accidentally said, I can't imagine a place I'd rather be. And she said, oh, I can. Paris, they have a lot of places. But she's been a real trooper, so I would ask, keep her in your prayers as well. Because, you know, I get an outlet. I get to talk to people about this. She bottles it up. We've been dealing with this crap for 4 years now. But she's unbelievably supportive. My kids are unbelievably supportive. If you go to the givesendgo.com/Eastman website, where it's on Google Testimony, but we also post updates there. Look up update 43. My kids wrote an article that Blaze published because the bar charges came down on Wednesday of Holy Week, and they took effect 3 days later. And think about the significance of that. My son, who's working on his master's degree in theology, decided we got to write this up. There's just like, the trilogy. Anyway, so they wrote this beautiful defense of their dad. It'll bring tears to your eyes. But that's how they're responding to it. But I see more and more Americans responding to it as well. I saw that rise up, this uprising that occurred in November. Now, the one problem is everybody thinks Trump's election meant it was all over, and it meant the federal action was over, but he has no authority to dismiss the state actions. And these criminal prosecutors in Fulton County, Georgia, or Arizona, or for others up in Michigan and Wisconsin, I met a gentleman here tonight, where is he, that is also, under fire for his bar license, yeah. I mean, this is insane. But I've got 2 words in response to it. Cash Patel. Because on Monday, the Department of Justice filed a statement of interest in Tina Peters' habeas corpus petition. She's the grandmother in Mesa County, Colorado, who was put in prison for 9 years for protecting the election data as federal law required. And she's trying to get this bonded so she doesn't have to sit in jail while her appeals are pending, because they're eventually going to get reversed. A Gold Star mother, 69, 70 years old, in prison for 9 years while they do the appeals. And so the Department of Justice filed a statement of interest saying she ought to be on bond, out pending appeal. And oh, by the way, we at the Department of Justice are investigating the prosecutors in her case. Talk about the cavalry finally coming to the West. I mean, this is amazing. And I think they're going to do it on all of these cases. Yours and mine and Rudy's and everybody else's. Because what we've been witnessing, in my view, is a nationwide conspiracy to violate constitutional rights. And that's a federal felony. And I think we've got a crew in there that recognizes that, and I think they're going to put some of these SOBs in prison. Now, I'm not a vengeful man, but I'm not going to oppose that effort at all.
That's how we feel.
Yeah. Because, quite frankly, if they're not held to account, if justice is not served, they will do it again and again and again. And how do I know that? Connie Willis down in Georgia has been disqualified, but 2 weeks ago, she filed another motion and appeal trying to resurrect some of the counts that had already been dismissed. She has no authority to be doing that, and she's still going. In Arizona, they hired, we heard on the film, the State United Democracy Center, one of these nutcase radical anti-Trump groups filing these bar complaints. She hired them to do this prosecution strategy for her in the criminal indictment that was brought against me in the electors in Arizona. Now that's like hiring the fox to prepare the safety memo for your chicken coop, right? I mean, it's just insane. And so these people are just doubling down, and if they're not held to account, we're not going to have the rule of law anymore. They're trying to scare away lawyers from ever taking on cases that go against whatever the status quo elites have handed down. And it doesn't matter whether you're protesting at a school board meeting, if you don't like boys swimming against your girls in the or running against them in the track meets, or pummeling them on the volleyball courts, as you saw in President Trump's speech, or you don't like 50-year-old men exposing themselves in the public locker room where your daughters are, and you speak up against it and they bring charges against you, they're trying to scare lawyers away from taking those cases on. So this fight is much bigger than this particular thing, and it's why I engage in it so much. So let me open it up for any questions.
Okay, hold the microphone, Tom will bring the mic. Do not speak unless Tom hands you the mic,
Come
please.
back here and get it.
This won't help your legal case, but could something be done to change the dates, or at least a contingency, so that there would be time to sort out election irregularities?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We used to have, we had another problem. We used to have elections in November, and inauguration wasn't until March. And that gave the outgoing president a long time to call those sorts of havoc. I mean, look at what havoc President Biden caused just for 2 months. But one of the things that's critical, and Professor Lessig, who's one of the last honest lefty scholars in the country, I think. I mean, I'm sure he's gotten raked over the coals for appearing in this film. But one of these things that says it's important, if there's still election challenges going on, it's critical that the electors meet on the designated day, so that if the election challenges go the other direction, those votes can be counted. Anyway, it's a funny story how we get here. In 1856, was anybody? My friend Rudy was there, but 1856, there was a blizzard in Wisconsin, and the electors couldn't get to the state house to cast their votes. They got there the next day. And the votes get to Congress, and they have a joint session. And two very important things happen that support my legal analysis and advice that I gave. One thing was the acting president of the Senate decided to count the votes. There were objections made from the floor, and he ruled the objections out of order because, as you saw in the text of that provision of the Constitution, it says the House and Senate are merely to be present. They don't have any role. So he exercised the authority that I was urging the Vice President to exercise. He decided, I think he decided it wrongly, but he decided the question. And then he gavelled the session ended, and James Buchanan elected. And the vote tally, it didn't matter, those Wisconsin votes, but the vote tally he reported included the Wisconsin votes. Then the second thing that happened, they spent the next 3 days in the House and in the Senate separately arguing about whether that was proper or not. And the issue got tabled in both houses. It never got resolved. But because the Constitution only gives one power to Congress over this whole process, and that is set the date for the electors to meet, and it requires that the electors, the date be the same throughout the country. If they don't meet on that day, and it's subsequently determined, for example, that Trump had won, you can bet the Democrats would have been screaming bloody murder if you count those, because they weren't passed on the required day. But they're now criminally charging people that actually met and cast the votes on that day. But by having that issue resolved, where we expect competing slates of electors to vote, if there's any legal challenge still pending, that will buy you an extra month of time, and that will help, I think, in getting these things resolved properly. You also need courage in the courts. You won't just shuffle it under the rug because they're afraid, which I fear happens a lot.
Question to your right over here, to your right.
Yeah, first of all, we're all very sorry for everything.
Thank you.
We're trying to do the right thing and making you look like you're the one breaking the law. I asked this to the young lady running for judge. What do you do when you're an assistant justice and line, not biased, but they're the ones that are heavily biased and not fulfilling their duties to the Constitution? What do you do when you're in that position? And all judges, no matter which party, allegiance to the Constitution, they should usually vote the same way. But it seems like they're so biased, and like what Trump's going through, it's like, what do you do when you're in that?
Yeah. There are some issues that are close calls, and if the judges go one way or the other, they're doing their job, even if I end up disagreeing with them. But what we're seeing with this stuff is things that are so clearly one way is right and one way is clearly wrong, and they're just plain politics. In Michigan, one of the justices of the Supreme Court in the Michigan election challenge that ended up there said from the bench to the Trump lawyer, "I'm not listening to you because all you want to do is keep your king in power." It was extraordinary. Now, our founders had 2 checks. Remember, our system is separation of powers, but it's also checks and balances. And the judges have gotten to the point where they think they're not checked by anybody else. That's not the view the founders had. There was a front-end check, nomination and confirmation process is a front-end check on bad characters getting in. But they also expected a back-end check, impeachment for judges. And we've somehow gotten the notion that no matter how egregiously wrong or violation of oath of office their actions on the bench are, is off limits for impeachment. Only bad conduct off the bench. The founders would have thought that was nonsense. I don't care what you do off the bench. If you're harming the public the public by violating your oath of office on the bench, that's a much more serious violation. That's the reason we have impeachment. And I've been arguing for 20 years. I think we need to revive some sense of use of impeachment. Even the threat of impeachment might keep some of these people in. Now, right now, the politics of it, you get an impeachment out of the House, you're never going to get a conviction in the Senate. But just making them go through the process, I think will have a salutary benefit. Let them go through the process and punishment stuff that I've been dealing with and see how well they like it for a minute.
Okay, last question over there to your left.
I'm sorry, okay. President Trump has mentioned several times that he wants to see paper ballots in the same day. What's the likelihood of that ever coming to pass?
Paper ballots, same day, voter ID, I think are all on, Save Act has voter ID. Same day, there's actually an argument that the Constitution requires it. I'd like to see that case brought. Trump may do it. Paper ballots as well. We know from Tina Peters' investigation in Mesa County, this is why they're really mad at her. She exposed code that was stripping votes in Mesa County, Colorado. Garland Favorito's efforts down in Georgia have documented thousands and thousands of ballots that were replicated in the system and multiple counted. So we have a huge problem with a black box system behind the veil that we can't see and verify. Paper ballots, we insist on paper ballots and put an ink on your thumb when you go to vote in Iraq. Why can't we do it here? So I think we're going to be able to pull it off. We'll see what the House and Senate do, but this is certainly on the table and it has some legs, I think.
John, we thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll want to stay a little bit if you want to go over on the side or go over on the side. Also, I'm going to ask all of you, Bobby Governor Walsh was nice enough to put us in touch with him, so email Bobby. Thank you very much for pairing with us.
And let me put in one ad real quick. If you go to givesendgo.com/Eastman, you can send us a prayer. My wife and I read it, they're helpful. You can donate some money to help with the legal fees. You can read the updates we put there. The other thing I'm going to tell you is if you've got other circles of friends that want to watch this movie, it's going to go up paid on Amazon Prime at some point, but it's currently available for free at eastmandilemma.com. So watch it, get other groups together, spread this message as far as you can, because I think every American needs to see what's going on. Thank you all very much for having me tonight.
So what can we do on a local level? Extremely important. We have still a few days left. Judge of elections, okay? There are people who still are confused what a judge of elections is. You get 10 signatures, you become the judge of elections at your precinct. Very simple to get 10, 15 signatures. And then we do not need to put a poll watcher there. Anyone in this room I would trust to run a fair and honest election. That's what we want, correct?
Yes.
Second thing is, in both counties and the other counties that are represented here, if we win the county executive, for instance, I will speak on Northampton County, there are 5 on the election board. 3 currently are Democrat, 2 are Republican, because our county executive is a Democrat. If we win this time, it will be 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats. Additionally, he would be able to appoint the person that runs the election office. Same thing in Lehigh County, okay? So this is what you can do. It's about everyone. There's an old saying, those of you who are Catholic, if you ever go to a funeral, they have those little mass cards, and I asked one time, a funeral director, how many cards do you usually print? He says 250. He says everyone in their life has 250 people. If everyone in this room would work that, we would never lose elections. We take things for granted in this country. Let's not let that happen. That's what we can do locally. Okay? And we'll close with a prayer similar to that. All right, upcoming meetings and events. Lincoln Day Brunch, Northampton County. Again, those flyers are at the table. If you go to ncrc.com, or I think it's northamptoncountygop.com, I actually have the PDF fillable on there. But again, we hope you can come to that event and enjoy company. And then we have the NRA banquet. And the gentleman, is he still here? Yes, he's over there. He's in charge of our local and friends of the NRA banquet. See him if you would like to attend. And there's a QR code there. I think John, he had a QR. Come up and see him. I don't know if we can put that back up. We'll try to do that right at the close of the meeting. About to change computers. Okay, Berks County Patriots is their meeting. Take a picture of that. Thursday, March 20th, 2025. And then we have free ham radio classes. If you're interested in that, you can get a little handheld one. Take a picture of that. 9-week lessons. Tom Jordan knows a lot about ham radios. Joe Matias back here. If you were interested in anything, I'm sure they would help answer your questions. And our next meeting will be April 3rd. April 3rd. Okay?
That's right. Like you said, there you go.
That's the day after President Trump's tariffs kick in.
You better get a statue up here. All right. Mr. Dory and Mo, do you have a winner here for our 50-50?
Yeah, we had another great 50-50 raffle. Gail Saunders has selected the ticket. Thanks to everyone who donated. It's a $185 to the winner. And the number is 879778. 879-7778. There's 3 sevens. And we have a winner. Thank you everyone once again.
Closing remarks, real quick folks. We want to thank John Eastman for coming out here. We want to thank our friend Dr. Walsh. We want to thank our board members that served us over the last 2 years. And to our new board members, we welcome them. We want to thank each and every one of you. If we have 30 seconds to come to you individually, we want to let you know that you're special. Remember what Trump said the other night? God made you a man or a woman. God made each and every one of you special. Our closing prayer, probably one of my favorite. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We ask you, God, for our health, for our family and friends who are suffering from any illness. May you restore them. As those who are Christians in this room have just entered Lent, help us to grow closer to God first and foremost. For our Jewish brothers and sisters, as Passover comes to them, also give them peace and bring peace to the Middle East and all parts of the world. We ask you to help us have a safe trip home, and let's make America great right here in the Lehigh Valley. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a blessed night. And don't forget, come back next month. God bless you.